Hi guys, so today I'm going to start with the swap signups for the fall and Halloween theme traveler's notebooks. They're going to be passport size. I talked a little bit about them like in every video leading up to today, but I do have some people already signed up just from talking about it the other day or last night, I guess, because I think I'm going to try to post this right now this morning. If I have any links for any of the stuff that I'm using, I'll have in the description box. Those would be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. Also in the description box right here under the title, click on the title, click show more. If you're on a TV, you need to get on a tablet or a computer. Printables, so free printables that I've used that are good. They worked. And instead of racking your brain, you can use those links if you want. You do not have to do printables, okay? So I know I already had some people email and they're like, oh, they're worried about that part of it, or even comments. You don't have to do printables. You can just do blank paper, quad paper that's already done, line paper that you already have, like, you know, however you want to do it. Especially with this size. It's really easy to get a regular size piece of paper and cut it down. So a passport size is 3.5 by 5 inches. The cover itself is going to be a little bit bigger, but the insert is 3.5 by 5 inches. Actually, for passports, they're 3.5 by 4.88 inches, but I'm rounding it up to make it easy. And so that just makes it easy. All the inserts that I've found, like to print, have basically been that 3.5 by 5, so that's really great. We'll talk about that. That's why I have my computer here. What's funny is I have my notes from the other day when I made that diamond press tutorial on the little traveler's notebook when they launched their kits, some kits that they have on their site. And this is, I'm telling you, this is how I just think about it. I'm like, okay, if that's 3.5, you know. So I just wrote down some things and it worked out, and that's kind of how I come up with these in the different sizes. So it's very easy. You just think about what's the insert you want. Okay, now we got to put a cover on that, and the cover should be a little bit bigger, you know, taller and a little bit wider, but not too wide, instead of having your inserts kind of floating in there. We're going to talk about all of this. I've already cut everything I need for my fall book, so let's talk a little about that. So, oh, I should have grabbed, let me go grab something, I'll be right back.
I'm sorry, before we get too far, please sign up with the email in the description box by August 9th. Thank you.
Sorry, I know this first part's going to be a little bit long, even though I cut these things in 5 or 6 minutes, and then now I have to just put the inserts in. It doesn't take a long time to make them. Please, if you sign up, start working on them today, right now, last night if you already signed up, because the faster you get them in, the better, because there's always invariably something that comes up. And this time I'm closing it, I think, on August 18th. It's all going to be written up whenever you ask to sign up. I have my email in the description box. You can say, yeah, well, I'm interested, and I'll send you written guidelines that have all the info in case you missed something. But please try to hang on every word that I'm saying in this video, because a lot of the questions people have are in the video. But I know the video is long, so maybe come back and check it out or pause it and when you have some, you know, time to really spend with it. But it's really easy, you guys. So what I was going to say is that normally we have been putting our notebooks, a B6 size, in a small flat rate box. Priority, which is great because people get them within a couple days. It's nice and protected. The swap fits in here perfectly. Now these guys, right now it's not laminated. Yeah, it fits. And we can put the little things like their little clippies and stuff just on top or on the side, and they don't have to. So I was like, oh yeah, 2 will fit in here. But once this is laminated, and I really don't want to make them shorter or anything funky because then your printables are going to be all messed up. So let's just keep it the standard size for a passport. And we're still going to do 2 because, you know, fall and Halloween, they're kind of quickly come in and out, you know? So I thought this was fun to do both of them at the same time. This kind of envelope would really probably smash things, but they would fit in here if we put 2 of them in here. So what I did is I got these, and these, sometimes they have them at the post office, sometimes they don't. Like when I live in Fresno, they were just there, but here it's like, oh, you have to order them. They're free. You can go on USPS.com and say you want shipping supplies, and they will send these to your house for free. So I asked for 60 of them, because I think you can only do them in batches of 10 or 15 and so many batches. So they delivered this huge box I have in my garage. I'm like, oh, nice. I love these. I love these. Whenever you guys win prizes or anything, it usually comes in one of these. And so this is going to hold 2 very well. So slightly different. This one costs $8.55, where the small box cost $8.45. Also, I'm going to go and purchase either some chipboard, because I know somebody had sent in one of their swaps before in a padded envelope, and they put a chipboard. And I'm like, oh, that's great. And it arrived in great shape. So I'm like, okay, maybe that's what I can do. Or more bubble wrap, right? So I'm going to wrap them up nicely because I don't want them to get hurt. Because, I mean, this is a soft thing, right? So you can imagine they're in there floating around or whatever. So I need to anchor them in some way or at least give them some support. So what I'm asking is this time when you send in the postage for it to be $9, that covers the shipping plus another few cents basically to buy, you know, a roll or two or whatever it is I need to buy of bubble wrap or chipboard. Hopefully I can find some like at a craft store. Something thick, something that needs to go in there, okay? That's all I need. So I'll pick something up like that just so I can get it safely to you guys because that really matters to me. So that's the new difference in the postage, and that's all written up in the instructions when you get it. Okay, so again, what do you interpret as fall, what you interpret for Halloween? So however you want to do that, it does have to be one fall and one Halloween. I know some people don't celebrate Halloween. Please do not send 2 fall ones and think you're going to get 2 fall ones back. I don't have the bandwidth or the memory or, you know, to write these notes down that this person doesn't want that, they want this, or they only sent one, they want, you know, it's not going to happen. If you're going to enter this swap, please know you have to follow the rules, and it means one fall theme one and one Halloween theme one, and I think it's going to be really sweet and really fun. And then since you're sending in 2, I'm not going to swap you out with just one other person because then, okay, I made these 2, you get these 2, and I'll take your 2. I'm going to swap between 3 people, so that way you're getting 2 different people swapped, which I think is fun. So you'll get one from somebody, one from somebody else back, right? So, and that's how we'll swap it out. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Again, in a live video, I think somebody had asked if they need to make their own video. No, you don't have to have a YouTube channel to enter the swap. That's up to you. If you want to make a video, that's great. If you don't even worry about it. And that's kind of why people send them to me and then I send them out. It could be that we would just swap together and you send it right to that person and no one ever sees it, but I think it's fun and I think you guys think it's fun to bring it here. I know it adds a cost to the project, right? Because you have to post it here and then back to you instead of just directly to the person, but I don't know. I think that's fun. I'm going to start off talking about printables. Okay, so 3.5 by 5. This cover is a little bit bigger than that. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then my folder's a little bit smaller because I'm going to laminate it. I should talk about that though in the video. Hopefully I remember to tell you if you're not laminating it, make it a little bit bigger. I make it a little bit smaller because by the time we laminate it, it'll be about the same size as the inserts. Let's talk about printables. So, yes, printables will make you pull your hair out. I mean, look at all these. This is so cute, right? By Alibi Design. It's not quite the right size because she doesn't have a passport size in this. She does have a passport size in her notes. The notes are really cute, so we'll talk about that in a minute. But these papers, they're just not the right size. I mean, this is, I cut it down now, but now these guides are there. If you don't care about that, I mean, I guess, but you really want it to look nice, right? And this, it's just not quite right. Super cute. Okay, I wasted paper, you know. Okay, I tried this. Did this work out? Oh no, I should have folded it a different way. Okay. You know, these guys, this fall to-do list is from Maple Art Studio, I think. I think this is 2. And, you know, I folded it in a way that the dots are on this side. Okay, now I'm going to print it. Before I print, I'm going to push it over. And these are because I made these up myself. Like, I got her images, and then I put them in Word, and I sized them, knowing that basically we want a half sheet, right? Because it's 3.5 by 5, so I want to cut off the margin. I set my margins to 1/2 inch. This is all in Microsoft Word. I'm not, I mean, kind of genius. I know people are asking me, I'm like, ooh, I'm not the person to ask, just for the same reason I'm not the person to ask about the joy. But in Microsoft Word, I'll copy an image, you know, save and copy. These are images that this particular person has. Maple Art Studio, I believe. Like I said, I'll have the links for him. And I resized it in Word, just, you know, right click on the picture if you want, or however you want to do it, and size it to 5 by 3.5. And then if it wants to lock the aspect ratio, meaning if I change this to 5, this is going to be some weird number, then unclick that so you can put in 5 and you can put in 3.5 for the other dimension, right? And then I copied and pasted it. And in a way that it's going to be centered, right? So after I did this and I printed it and it wasn't right, I just pressed enter, 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 you know, I just spacebarred over like 5 more steps, and then that worked for the next one. So yeah, it was another waste of paper, and then I I copied it. Whatever I did on that first page, which was to put this one, this one, this one, and this one, or however I did it, I copied all of that and I pasted it onto a second page, so when I print it, I can say double-sided and then print it. The double-sided part is what tricks people up, I think. So when you go to do double-sided, in your printer options, it'll say like long binding edge, short binding edge, all these weird things. It depends on the person's Like this, I made it myself, so I said long binding edge because I want it to be the same on this side, so when you flip it, it prints correctly instead of printing something weird or upside down on the back page or whatever. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, I printed this one, now I'm going to long binding edge, and I'm going to print this one. Some people want short binding edge, meaning this short, tall one here is where it should be bound, so that when it prints correctly. You just have to play with that, unless the person's download says there, oh, print on short binding edge, 100% or whatever. You never really want to mess with the aspect ratio, except for once. I'll talk about that in just a minute. So this is very particular, obviously, to the things I did. Look, I mean, I printed this, that didn't work out, this one didn't quite work out. You're going to waste paper. But try not to waste too much paper. What I do whenever I do test prints, I just print page 1 and 2, front and back, and see what it looks like. If it doesn't look good, then don't do like page 1 through 10, because then you just wasted 5 pieces of paper that are double-sided. So this one was a recipe card from Maple Art Studio, and I sized it so that it is 5 by 7, right? And I don't know if you can see it has some color on there. So now when I cut it, I'm going to cut it down to 7. I'm going to cut it 5 tall. And this one is just, I didn't print the back because I want this to be my cover. Because otherwise it'll say directions here, right? This part, this, when it prints on the other side, like, let me show you. I hope I'm not losing you guys. I'm trying to explain this the best I can. See how it says recipe or whatever? When I fold this in half, directions will be there. I didn't want that. So this last page, I only printed one side. And so when I fold it, I can just put recipes myself or do whatever I want. There's an extra one on here, but that's okay. I could have deleted it, but I didn't. So what I did with these, again, I sized it so that they'd be 5 by 7. So when I score it at 3.5, it's already 5 inches tall. It's going to have a little bit of extra. And then I'm going to fold them, and when they fold with each other, the recipe goes across the page of the book, right? Recipe, you have your ingredients, you have your whatever. Maybe you want to just glue something down. And in the very center, it'll be perfect. And then the next one will look like this. And it worked out, so I thought that was really cute. So I did a few pages of that. This is for the fall book. I think this is from, oh, I forget the name. She has a funky name on her printer, but what does it say on here? Oh, Wonderful. And this is a weekly planner. So it's to do and all these other cute things, and then the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I printed a few pages of those for each book because that's what I'm going to do for each one. And I also printed a dot grid. So this is this, and this is going to go in my fall theme planner. And for the other one, I haven't printed things because I want to print them with you. It's a thing. Okay, so this I printed because I already just did it. It's going to be the same. Let me open up my computer and get it open to where I need to be, and I'll show you kind of what we're talking about. Okay, this is going to be edited kind of weird because before I get started, I started talking about the printables and all that. Let's talk about the notebooks themselves again. Sorry. So they're going to be passport size. That means, again, the inserts are 3.5 by 5. The outer cover is going to be about, when laid out, it's like 5 1/4 by 8.5. So we're going to talk about all that when we go to cut things. But I just want you guys to know the basic things. I'm looking at my instructions, my guidelines here. You're going to have 3 inserts, again, dot grid, lined, basic paper, colored paper, whatever you want to, weekly planners, whatever you want to print or make, or just blank papers is fine, whatever it is that you want to put in there. Not too thick though, please. I know the little books from Dollar Tree are going to be tempting. They're too small, so they're going to be kind of floating around there and they're not going to look great. So please make your own inserts. I mean, this is just a great way. Again, today's Wednesday, we busted out to use what you have, which is what I would encourage. I think that's really fun. And go from there. So the inserts are going to be about 3.5 by 5, again, with whatever you want to put in them. If you want to laminate them, that's up to you. If you're going to laminate them, you're going to need to cut them a little bit smaller, everything a little bit smaller, because that lamination is going to expand and then your cover's not going to fit so nicely. We need to have a folder. Again, that's about 3.5 by 5 when you fold it. Again, if you're going to laminate that, it's going to have to be a little bit different sizing to begin with before you laminate it. But I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, of course, in the video here. It should have a laminated bookmark, again, with washi samples wrapped around it, and the washi should be enough for somebody to actually use it. So quite a few wraparounds, but I think all the embellishment things are going to be a separate video because this is going to be long enough as it is. So we'll come back for that. So again, we'll do all the cuts today. We'll do our printables or whatever we're going to do. And then we will laminate and embellish in the next video. You are going to have a dashboard. That's one difference in the one I made for Diamond Press. I totally forgot about my little dashboard. So you are going to have a dashboard in there, again, about 3.5 by 5. You want it to be kind of big enough so that when someone places the dashboard inside the inserts, they can write on it. So it's about 3.5 by 5. If you're going to laminate it, it can be a little bit smaller, of course, because then we're going to cover that up. You want to add a pen loop to it, however you want to do that. If that's just a binder clip with like a little elastic. If it's the way I did it the first time with an extra strip of paper that you then curve around with a piece of Velcro, tape it down, staple it down. I know you guys do lots of different things, so however you want to do that. But you don't have to add an actual pen, but it should have a pen loop or some way to add a pen. The journal needs to have at least one decorative clip. Of course, we usually do plenty of them, but at least one decorative paper clip. Again, you know, bows, whatever you want to put on your paper clip. Everyone puts the cutest little things on there. And then it should come with at least 3 different types of embellishments that people can use. So like in the folder, in the pockets, or wherever, you're going to have die cuts, stickers, stones, whatever, tags, whatever it is that you want to put in there. But 3 different types of things. And the journal should have some kind of decoration on the outside, or a combination. I know a lot of us, we put a dangle and then we put something cute on the band in the front. However you want to do it. And then, of course, I would like to have extra pockets, like on the inside of the journal. Where did I put my... Things are getting crazy because I started going off and then I realized I didn't really talk about this itself. So just like in here, if you can do a pocket or add a little pocket. And actually what I'm going to do is use my new Tonic Loaded Pockets die that has like little slits. I'm like, oh, that's going to be perfect. I know the Diamond Press pocket, slimline pocket would be great, but for this you have to cut it down, so it might look a little bit funky. But for other journals, I think that'd be awesome. So anyway, so if you can add a pocket, that'd be great, or a library pocket, or just anything that makes it so that you can add some little things if you would like. And then again, I mentioned in the guidelines that people were really interested and able to be able to thank their swap partners. So if you want your swap partner to know some of your info, like your name or email or maybe address, if they want to send a thank you card or whatever, make sure to put that in there. And if you're going to do it, put it in an envelope, or at least close it up, or maybe put a sticker and say for my swap partner, so I know it's not something I need to open. That would be great. And if you don't want it shown on camera, possibly make sure to cover it. Make sure it's in an envelope, or you know, contained within itself somehow, because I have been known to show them and I don't want to. I'm sorry, it just happens. Yeah, and then after all the swaps come in, you know, like I said, we'll swap you guys out with your other people. So I just wanted to talk about this a little bit because I realized I just started going into the tutorial. All right, well, let's get started. It's kind of funny. What I have is I save them in notes because that way I can just copy and paste it for you guys. I think the one I want right now, yes, the printable, for the one that says notes. So I'm just going to click on that. It's by Alibi Design Studio. I know this is not the best way to do this, but whatever. So this video is going to be long just because of this, but not really. So here is what she has. So it's a double-sided, not double-sided, but 2 pages. This is the notes. It just says notes, and this is the Pocket Plus size. Sorry. So yeah. So she calls it Pocket Plus, and some people do that. It might say PP or Pocket Plus. Some people call it Passport, but it says here 3.5 by 5. So that's what we want. And I've already downloaded this, so let me see if I click. Okay, sorry. I just clicked on that. It just enlarges the picture. So I think I've already downloaded this, but let me see. So it says click here to download. Some companies want you, or some pages will want you to give them your email address. I gave it to a few different ones, like my burner email, and that's fine. So we have Pocket Plus on A4 sheet, Pocket Plus on A4 sheet for some reason. That one's a little bit different. I just do Pocket Plus on letter. And what I like about this one, I don't know if you can tell the difference, this one only has one right in the middle of the paper, and this one has 2 sets on 1 page, which I like because that way we can print more of them faster. So there it is. And I can just print from here. You can download it just to have it. So as you can see, she has 1 page and then the 2nd page. And that's all she has. So what you're going to do is print as many as you like. So I'm going to say print. Okay, so it looks like this, and then of course I'm going to click print again, but up here, that's how I do it, file, print. Now, just looking at it, it needs to be long edge binding. If you do short edge binding, one might be flipped, it might do something funky or turn it, just, it's weird. So I'm already on black and white, I'm on 2-sided because that's just what my computer does. Again, whatever your computer does, don't mess with the scale, it's fine, it's going to be perfect. You can do best quality draft if you want, or whatever, normal, however you want to do that. But I'm going to go, and this is for my computer, I'm going to go into layout, and make sure long edge binding is on, and mine always defaults to long edge binding. Some companies, like Wonderful, hers are usually short edge binding, so you would click on short edge binding, but we'll talk about that in a minute. I don't know if I'm going to print any of hers today, though. But this is the reason hers would be short edge binding, because she prints them like this. It's just one on each page, and you want them to be short edge binding, not long edge, because it'll flip the other one. Okay, so maybe that'll... Either way, again, print a practice page. This is 1 and 2. I would say 1 copy and see what it looks like. If you printed it wrong, then choose a different binding edge, probably. Sometimes you might have to flip horizontally or something like that, but that's just on your computer. I can't really dictate that for you guys. And then, since I know this is going to be fine, I want, let's say 5 copies. That's 5 pages front and back, which is actually way more because each of these does a whole set, 2 sets of pages, right? So that's it, and I'm going to print. Okay, I'm going to grab this when it comes from the printer, and I'll be right back. Okay, and here they are, printed perfectly, and if you actually measure these things, they are perfectly 7 inches across and then 5 inches deep, and it has little guides that you can cut. So this is really great, but this is too bad this is the only one that Alibi Designs has that's basically a passport size. Everything else is close, but not quite. Just like I'm going to show you right now. And if you want to mess with them, you know, to resize them, go ahead. You can only do so much because it's a PDF. You can't edit it. So whenever, like, when I did the recipe cards, yeah, that's an image. So I downloaded it and saved it and then messed with it and did what I wanted to do. It took me a long time, you guys, to make that work. Just like her weekly planner I've used from Maple Art, and it took me a while to make it work. But you know, once you've got it, save it, and then now you have it. So the other thing I want to print is the dot grid, and I used the dot grid from Wonderful. It's kind of hard to find dot grids. So one thing is you can just print out a full page of dot grid if you don't care, you want to waste some ink, and then just cut it down, and that's fine. With hers, what I did was I started with her pocket size. Again, this is Pocket Plus, okay? So pocket size is a little bit different. And I don't know if you can see how hers is going to print. It looks something like this. 2 full pages, and I'm like, well, I don't want full pages, right? We don't. But it just works. So I'm going to show you what I did. Okay. And so when you go to print this, you say File, say Print, and you can see it looks like it takes up the whole page. But when you go to print, it does not. It's just in the center. And just so you know, dot grid is supposed to print very lightly. If you guys are afraid, like, oh, that doesn't look like anything, that's the point, because you're supposed to be able to write on it and keep your, you know, your lines straight or what you're writing straight, but without it being like so overt that you're like, oh, you see it really well, you know. So no. But when I printed this, it's too small because this is pocket size and we want Pocket Plus passport size. So I printed it and it was okay, but I was like, nah. So I scaled it to 110%. I know I said don't mess with the percentages, but you can. You can do whatever you want. On some of them that are perfect, like you don't want to mess with the percentages. That's all I'm trying to say. So I'm already black and white. I'm on 2-sided. Again, I'm going to go into layout. And this time we are going to do, actually I think on this one, I think I do long edge binding. It just depends, again, what it looks like, right? Does this look like it needs to be short edge, or does it look like it needs to be over here? Let me see if I have any notes about that. Yeah, I didn't, so. Oh, you know what? What we'll do, we'll print 1, just in case, right? We're going to print 1. It's long edge binding, and we'll see what it looks like. So I'll print this, and I'll be right back. And you know what? I think that's going to be okay. And this is how you can tell. You can tell if you got it right or wrong. I think on this one you can probably do either way. You see the little dots and you see the grids. And if you really look through it, they're kind of off. Like if I look through the paper, I can see on the back side, they're not exactly the same. But what you can do is fold your paper in half and see through them to make sure that's okay. Actually, I think a Wonderful site, she has some information about printing them. And I don't know if you can see, like, it has a nice spacing here. And if you look through them, they're lined up top and bottom. And that's what I care about, that the top and the bottom are exactly the same. So that was good. So I'm going to print just 4 more of this. I'll be right back. And what I mean is copies. When I do copies, I'll say 4 copies. Long edge binding. I'll be right back. So I'm done printing those. So this one's slightly different because Wonderful, she makes hers so that they're like this. And I don't know if you can see with that spacing, it looks really nice in the center. But you know, it's not all over the place. And then we're going to cut this down. Now this one I had printed for the fall book is from a different set of dot grid, and you can see this one goes all the way to the edge. So, you know, this one was meant to be for the B6 size, and then I just cut it down to what I wanted. So that's why they're right to the edge, because this I had printed out for a larger size book. And that happens to be the, oh, that one's actually from Maple Art Studio, I believe. Let's see. It should have like, yeah. So that one's from here. Again, just grab one of them, whatever it is. I'll have the links for everything. This printable dot grid, and she has personal half A5 letter size, so I think I picked personal. And then I just trimmed it down to the size I want, because this one doesn't matter. It doesn't have like specific guidelines or however. So again, you can print bigger and then cut it down if you want. All right, that's all I'm going to say about the this kind of thing. It's not my forte, but we're going to cut these in just a minute. So now I have my inserts ready, because for this one, actually I wasn't even going to use dot grid on this one. So I just showed you guys how to do that as a freebie, I guess, because as a bonus, because I wanted to put black paper in one of my little books for this one. So we're going to talk about all that in just a minute. Okay guys, in the meantime I had to take a pause, get the kids ready with their breakfast and stuff. And while I was doing that, I went ahead and put my little inserts in my fall theme book. So there's a to-do list with the weekly schedule there. The recipe cards, I printed out a whole bunch of them, but I think I only put what ends up being 10 in here. But see how it just goes across so nicely? I love it. And that wasn't that hard. Again, I measured it. I tried to size it out 5 by 7, and then just to make sure it's at the center of the page, just, you know, highlight everything that you do that with, like, because these are images, you know, and then just center them. Click center, and that was perfect, because it centers it for me and everything's good to go. Some of the other things that sometimes I had to press like tab and mess around with it that way. I made my little folder, and then this last one is the dot grid insert. So that one's ready to go. I forgot that I had made this other little book that could have tucked in something like this. So I had the fall to-do list again from that one. Again, I think it's Maple Art Studio, I don't know, but I'll have the links for it. And then I did bucket lists, fall bucket list, and this one was a little trickier, but this one is the one I did have to kind of like, I measured them, you know, 3.5 by 5, and then I had to put some spacing in between. But again, you can also center those if you highlight them later on. I thought, oh, duh, I should have just highlighted them and said center, so it would just center it, you know? And then the recipes that are just black and white. The other ones are cardstock. So I have this little extra book. Maybe I'll pop it into my fall TN whenever I get my swap. So all we're going to do now is choose our cover, our insert covers and all that. So I do have these paper packs that I've had for a minute. This is the Echo Park Hocus Pocus, and then this one is Apothecary, no, Chillingsworth Manor. So cute. What a name, Chillingsworth Manor. And look at all these fun things that are on here, so this is awesome. This I bought probably 4 years ago. I don't know, at Hobby Lobby as it says, but they don't carry this stuff anymore. Don't even bother. Okay, looking for Christmas. Oh no, they have Christmas. Looking for Halloween at Hobby Lobby. And then I got some stuff recently at Michael's that I'm going to accent here and there, because I have that acetate paper I kind of want to work in here and see if we can do something with that. But I'll go through these paper packs and pick out what I want for my cover, and what I want to cover my inserts, and what I want for my folder, and then we'll talk measurements. Almost forget my dashboard again. I didn't even write down measurements. So this is the new measurements for this one, because they're a little bit different than the Diamond Press video, because I start off with the card base, and then not really so much because of that, because the measurement's the same, but just I had to do something different. So those are my little chicken scratch notes, and they make sense to me. So this is the paper. Oh my gosh, if I had known this paper was so awesome, Chillingsworth Manor, I would have got another pack. And hopefully I do have one in my stash somewhere. So again, it's Echo Park. I don't think it's available anymore, but however. So from this one, so this is going to be my cover. So on my cover, I need my paper to be 5 1/4 by 8 1/2. So I will cut this down 5 1/4 by 8 1/2, whatever happens to be where I want it to be. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to be selective. Like, look at that. I really like this witch lady though, so I think I'll probably cut it from here, 5 1/4, and then 8 1/2, wherever that ends up being. For our covers, for our little inserts, the inserts are going to be 3 1/2 by 5, legit 3 1/2 by 5. This is a little bit bigger than that because I wanted to have that little breathing room. My goodness, I always get something caught in my throat. Sorry. We need 3 of those for our inserts. So we have our inserts here. We're not going to cut them yet. We'll talk about that in just a minute. So for my inserts, I think this is dashboard. Oh, let's see. That's that. That's that. This is folder. Yeah. Hopefully I have enough of this paper for my folder. I was just trying to measure that, making sure I have enough of this paper for my folder. So the folder, this is going to be my folder. cute. This is going to be for the folder. If you're going to laminate it, should be 6 3/4 by 8. So 6 3/4, because we're going to score it at 2 inches and fold it up, so that makes it 4 3/4 inches tall. When you laminate it, it's going to get a little taller, right? So it'll be about 5 inches by the time you're done with that. And then by 8, because we're going to score 1/2 inch on either side, and then when you fold it, it's going to be 3 1/2. The inserts are slightly larger than 3 1/2, so that's why it works out for me. So I like to just leave that alone. So again, if you're laminating, 6 3/4 by 8. If you're not laminating, I say go ahead and do 5 inches tall plus some to fold up into a folder, so maybe 2 more inches. So let's say 7 by 8 is still fine. Okay, you just have to add a little bit extra so that it's not too small inside your book. But that's for my folder. For the inserts themselves, again, we have all our pieces here. These other pieces I'm not going to cut yet. And these are real simple. You know, they're going to be 5 inches tall by 7 1/4. I give it 7 1/4 because when you fold 7 in half, that's 3 1/2, right? Just give yourself a little bit of a lip, because sometimes your papers might, when you go to fold them, look, because this cardstock, it's already at the edge, and I gave myself an extra 1/4 inch, you know, so just give yourself a little bit extra on those. So that's why I cut these 5 by 7 1/4, okay, for all of my inserts. So these are all going to be insert covers. I'm going to cut them again, 5 by 7 1/4. And then the inserts themselves, we're going to cut down. I like to do that kind of when I'm ready for it, so I'm not going to cut these quite yet, but these are just basically going to be cut to 5 by 7. So 5 inches tall, 7 inches wide, and then we're going to score them at 3 1/2. So 5 by 7, 5 by 7, 5 by 7. Again, they are already that size. So like this one, when I go to cut it here, it's going to leave 5 1/2 here, 5 1/2 here. We're going to cut that half off, and then the 7 inch side, you know? So it's really easy to work with. I really love this Alibi one. I wish you would make more, because I'm not great at designing those things. And then our dashboard. So dashboard is whatever you want. I normally would max it out inside of here, so, you know, I would do 3 1/2 by 5. But we are going to laminate it. So you can do, let's say, 3 1/4 by 5 still, because the height doesn't really matter, because this other thing is also a little bit taller anyway. So I would say, yeah, 3 1/4 by 5 is what I'm going to cut for this. And then some kind of bookmark, whatever it is, if you have a die you like to run through for a bookmark, or if you just want to cut paper down, however you want to do the bookmark part. Again, maybe like 2 inches by like 5 inches. We're going to laminate that too. So the 3 things that you have to laminate are the cover, the dashboard, and the bookmark. I'm going to laminate the folder, but you don't have to do that. And people like to laminate the covers for the inserts. That's up to you. You don't have to do that either. But I will be right back.
Okay guys, I wanted to leave this part pretty much in real time, but I didn't want to waste too much of your time, so I sped it up half. It literally took about 2.5 minutes just to cut all the papers, so just wanted to show you it's not difficult. Just make those cuts.
Cutting session, you're good to go. While I was doing that, I was actually offloading some of the footage that I just filmed, and I forgot I want to make for my dashboard calendars to go on the backside. So this is here, and on the backside I'll have a little calendar. And again, you know, I went to this World of Printables. I have the links for you guys. Look how cute these little guys are. So super easy. She has a ton of calendars, 1-page ones, cute little ones like this. You can, again, if you want, you know, February, you click on it, and then I right click, I save the image if you want to save it, or I just copy the image, and then I go to Word, I'm not going to do this forever, but, and then I paste it, just right click and paste it. And then I centered it. After I added everything I wanted, I went ahead and just centered, because that way it makes it easy, because the next thing I'll show you after just printing one, because it's for October for the Halloween book. Okay, so the other thing you want to do is resize it. So once I'm here, I just double click, or right click, should I say, and I size it here. Now you can size it wherever you like, but I like size on position. I click that, and I had put 5 inches, and then later I changed my mind, so then I just dragged it and made it smaller, but you can put 5, and then this number is going to change with it. Now if you don't want this number to change with it, or if you want certain things, like I showed you with the recipe card, I did 5 by 7, you need to click this. Not to lock the aspect ratio, that way you can mess with the numbers yourself. They might look wonky because you want the aspect ratio to go together in an ideal world, because it might stretch it weird or something, so you can see what it looks like if it doesn't look good, you know. But I'm going to cancel that because I don't want to change it. And on this one, all I did was grab each little picture, and I just cut and paste, or, you know, copied it, pasted it, said I want it 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, and now they're all kind of together, and that should let me cut it about as high as this is, you know. We went 5 inches, so I have plenty of room around it. So what I'm gonna do, I already have cardstock in my computer, cardstock in the printer, so I'm just gonna print it. I just really want to quickly show you this because I know people have questions about stuff like that. Right now it's on black and white. I do not want that. I actually want color, which I hardly ever do. And copies and pages is fine, that doesn't matter. You can do like to make it nicer, like media and quality, I want to do best because I want it to print really nicely. And that's it. And then I'll cut those down, again, to the size that I need them for my dashboard. Oh, darn, of course. I want to show you guys how quick and easy it is. I'm telling you, making the book is the fastest part, in my opinion, this part. And then when you do all your little decorations, your add-ons, that's what takes a little bit of the time, right? Because depending on what you want to do. I forgot to cut the folder in that video I just did. Darn it. So here it is. Again, 6 3/4 by 8. And then these are the guys I just popped out. So again, you know, I'll just come over here. And since I didn't write the dashboard down, I have to actually look at the sizing. I think I said 3 1/4 by 5, right? So 3 1/4 by 5 on my dashboard. And so I'm just going to cut this, basically just to cut it down. It doesn't really matter the sizing right now. I just want to cut it away. But I'm going to get it really close to that lettering because I have a feeling I'm going to get most of this cut off. And then by 5 inches, and that's actually pretty good. Hey, I have some good eyeballing there. And then again, by 3 1/4. So, I mean, I can look at this and actually make up my numbers. I'm not going to, so I'm going to trim it down here. Because basically this is centered in the middle, and I want it to be 3 1/4, so I can kind of, you know, how much do I need to cut off of either side? This is 8 1/2 inches, and 3 1/4 of that I want to be in this card here. So, that leaves 5 1/4. So at least 2 1/2 I should cut off. 2 1/2 and 2 5/8, right? If my math is good. We're going to cut 2 5/8 off of each side, and that should leave me with a 3 1/4 inch piece that is centered. Perfect! Woo! You guys, my math is just, it's getting better every day. Alright, so that's that, and I'll do the same thing with this one. Just trim it down, and this one's a little trickier because I don't really know exactly what's going on with these guys. But let's see. Let's try to cut off the 2 5/8 and see if that helps. Yeah, it should, because it is centered, so it wouldn't matter. Again, after I copy and pasted everything, I centered it. And then I kind of moved this one a little bit over because it looked like it was a little bit too much this way. And now I'll cut it down to 5. All of my inserts. Wait, before I throw out my stuff that I need here. Again, just cut them down 5 by 7, okay? So this is just colored cardstock I want in one of my inserts. These guys, you follow the guides. So usually how I do that is I stack everything nicely, and I kind of take a good look at this, and I see, okay, I kind of feel where my cutting guide is, because this is a little different with the guillotine, and where the little marks are, and I give it a cut. And if I'm right on, I'm glad, yep, pretty good. And on the other side, I'll go ahead and cut at 5 inches, because I know I need this to be 5 inches regardless of what happens over here. So now I'm looking at 5 inches, I'm not really looking at the guides. Okay, and now we're going to cut off the edges. Again, I'm looking at the guides this time, but when I go to cut this one, I'm just going to cut at 7 inches because I need it to be 5 by 7 regardless of what the guide. It's going to be close, so perfect. And then since this is just copy paper, I'm going to fold it like this. Now again, because when you print something with the long side binding, the short side binding. You might get some funny little stuff like this, but guess what? When I corner around it, it pretty much takes care of that. So this is my little weekly planner, designed by that Wonderful. And hers does come with a cover page, so you don't have to mess around like I did with my recipe book where I printed one side, not the other. Hers is ready to go. You just print it 100%. Same thing with these guys. I'm just going to cut them up, and it's up to you how you want to cut this. Do you want to cut the edges off first? You know, like this. I know it should be at 10 and a half because that's a 1/2 inch margin on the top. So I'm just going to cut that off. Even though there's guides, you can follow the guides. You can just... And the other side should be 10 now because we're, again, cutting off 1/2 inch at the bottom. It's nice to do it this way because they're all going to be the same. And then this, I'm just using the guides because I can see them, but basically we're taking off some on the side. I don't really know how much. It's like 3/4 inches. So if you want to just keep that in memory, 3/4 inches. And then this should be at 7 because we're cutting this paper down to 7. And sure enough, 7 inches wide. And now all I have to do is cut it right in half, which should be 5 inches regardless of what the little carry guide thing says. And she does a great, like this is straight on, where the Wonderful one's a little bit off, you know, has a little funkiness. This is like perfect. So, all right, those are our inserts, and I'm just going to get everything together. Okay. You know, I was doing this, I was like, we should do this live. That'd be fun. I don't know, after I did the little project the other day, I did miss a lot of messages, you know, when I was working on that little bauble for the tonic launch, but the magazine launch, but it was fun. We'll think about it. So I do want to mix up my colors, like, so that they're staggered. And again, these, I'm going to do them one at a time because they are cardstock, so I'm just going to score them at 3.5 inches. And the other thing about these guys is that once you're done and you fold it, and if it sticks out right here and you don't like that because it's, you know, kind of wonky, you can take a ruler and an X-Acto and just cut that off, or you can bring it back to your guillotine, however you like. And that's kind of why I made the covers a little bit bigger to kind of cover that area. So I would score and fold all of these. So these are the inserts, okay, the little books. Again, you want to use plain papers, you can use cardstock like I did, that's really sweet. Plain paper, any kind of craft papers, you know, cards, like craft cardstock would be really cute, whatever you want to do. I think I'm going to put this is double-sided. What's really sweet about double-sided paper is that you don't have to stick it to your, okay, I was going to scroll this to the wrong spot. So the insert covers are 5 by 7 1/4, so when you go to score it, not at 3.5, you want to score it at 3 5/8. If you don't have a 5/8 marker, maybe there's a way that you can kind of maybe use a regular ruler, get yourself some little tick marks, and then bring it over somewhere that you know you can make a nice straight line. So what some people do when they have double-sided paper like this is that they don't actually stick this down. They don't actually staple it in there. They leave it so that the person can flip it back if they want, you know, flip it the other way. I'm going to stick mine all together, but if you want to do that, what you would do is go ahead and staple these or bang them together however you want, and then just slip that over it for the insert, you know, when you go to put it in the book. But that's all I'm going to do. And then I have this little swing arm stapler, the cheapest thing. It's from Daiso. It's been working real well for me, but I'll link in the description box ones that I think would be great from Amazon there. So yeah, just pop that in there. And I like to staple it backwards. I know most people staple from the outside to the end, but I feel like this might hold on to the elastic, right, once we put our elastic in. So I'm not going to do that. So I go from inside out, but however you want to do it. So that's one down, and then we're going to corner round. So I'm telling you right now, we're just prepping everything. So I was thinking about making it a thing where you have to decorate the front cover, but if you want to do that, that'd be great. I'm not going to require that. But, you know, I know we all have die cuts or things that we can maybe get off the internet for, like, your Cricut machine or whatever machine you might have. So I'm just doing that to everything, and I'll do that to all 3 inserts, okay? So now we have insert number 1 down. I'll be back. We'll corner around these later, but those are the inserts. All done. You know, I was looking at this, I thought, oh, wouldn't that be cute to cut like some of the papers, especially with the Halloween book, with my decal edge trimmer. That would be cute. Okay, So that is the insert. Let's talk about our little folder. And again, there's different ways to make a folder. Do whatever you like, as long as it's about, you know, 3.5 by 5 inches. That's going to fit in there. If you want to laminate or not, that's up to you. Again, I am laminating mine, so that's the numbers I'm giving you: 6 3/4 by 8. And you can see this by 8 on this side. So let's talk about the by 8 side. We're going to score 1/2 inch on either side. So that would be 1/2 inch and 7.5, or however you want to do it. And then right down the center. So I know that's going to leave kind of a, I think this one leaves a weird number. Well, it should just be 4, I guess, because we're by 8. So we're scoring at 4 inches. Sometimes it'll be a funky number because of the way you have to split the numbers. And then on whichever side, this side, basically if your paper has a direction, this one kind of doesn't, but you're going to turn it and score it at 2 inches. So when you fold that 2 inches, it's going to leave you 4 3/4 by 3.5-ish folder. Now again, if you're not laminating it, just make this a little bit longer and then do your 2 inches. But I'm going to go ahead and score some of these things. We are going to cut some of it away. Again, I like making that little accordion fold one like I made it the first time I did a Traveler's Notebook swap. That one's really fun because it holds a lot of stuff. But whatever it is that you want to do to make a folder, that's great. And here's the 4 inch. So from here, now you can make your folder so it's completely like this, but it's kind of making it wonky, especially if you're going to laminate. You want to cut away here. So you can cut away however you like. You can do something decorative. You can have a decorative die. Ooh, like on the edge die. That'd be really cute. Cut it, you know, just straight across. Cut it in a curve. Cut it however you want. And the other one, I cut it straight across. So for this one, let's do something fun. Let's just do like a fun, weird, I don't know if you can tell, I kind of did a little something funky on that one. Oh, that's cute. Okay, so the other thing we need to cut away is part of this. You want to cut away this part or this part, that's up to you. I usually come in here and go like this, and then a little bit angled just so that that nestles in better later. I cut off that 1/2 inch area. Trim that away. And one last thing I do before I completely stick this down is I kind of eyeball this and see where to cut this. You don't have to do this, but it just feels better in my opinion. But you can do whatever you want. I'm just cutting right on that where it meets up and then cutting a little notch away just so it looks like a peachy folder, basically. And please, I encourage you, watch videos on YouTube. There are tons of videos. I know some people were giving me some history about different things. Like, go back and see the oldest videos on, I guess really, if you look up Laminated Journal, you're not going to find too much. Most people call it Traveler's Notebook, so look something up like that if you want more ideas. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to put glue on either side here, so that's going to hold the little pocket, and then on the inside of this to hold this down. In the next video, we're going to laminate, and then we're going to make some fun little dangles and goodies and stuff to go to decorate this with. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And even if you don't want to laminate, you can do exactly the same thing. Here's your folder. You don't have to laminate anything on that one. Again, the requirements for lamination are the cover itself, the bookmark, and the dashboard. And I'm corner rounding because it looks adorable. If you want to corner around the inside, some people do that too, but I make mine shorter. That way when it's laminated, it's not bothering anything. And for some people, when they laminate it, it's too big, so that's why they corner around. Or whatever, they just like the way it looks, I guess. So that's that. So that's the folder. Let me see. Let's work on dashboard and yeah. So my dashboard is right here. Again, these pieces are cut basically the same. This one's a little bit bigger, I can see, so I'm going to do is stick it down, and then I'm going to, actually I'll put the glue on this one since this one's shorter. And then I will trim off that excess piece just so that they're the same. A wet glue is nice. If you're going to use a wet glue, you're going to have to give it some time before you go to, I want this part up. Actually, do I want it up? Yeah. So, again, if your paper has a direction, make sure to check that out. Make sure your glue dries really well before you move on to doing the lamination, because the glue might reactivate. I'm just going to take a quick moment and trim that off with my guillotine, just so it's the same. Okay, and basically that's it for my dashboard for now. If you want to put stickers on this, decorate it up. However, I'm going to put a sticker on it up at the top, so it's kind of like a tab. But I don't have a sticker to go in the back, like behind it, to match the style. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you have something cut out that's kind of funky, unless you have an opposite one in the back, I wouldn't put the sticker on now because it's going to have glue and stickiness. So I'm just going to corner around my dashboard for now. And then tomorrow, it'll be tomorrow. I'm not going to upload the second part 2 until tomorrow. We'll put our little sticker on there, so we have that. And then this guy, you know, whatever you want to do with it. I'm going to corner around. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You can make it a funny shape. That's what I'm saying. Like if you have a die cut, or some of the pieces that come in your paper packs usually have something cool. Let me get a sticker for this. I'll be right back. You know what? It has 2 sticker packs. I only saw this one on the top. Maybe I'll have enough or something that I can put on the back that'll cover both sides, you know? That's really cute. I was going to put this little black cat. Again, this is going to be covered in washi, so... ooh, he fits perfectly right there. That's funny. I'll put him on this funky side. His little whiskers are out here, but I might cut them off. And then on this side... I'll just put the word goodies, I don't know. Okay. And then we're going to laminate this, pop a hole in it, and wrap it with washi, so that's done, the bookmark. And then we just have our cover. So the cover is super easy. I think that's all we have until we go to laminate and make our other stuff. So hopefully you've seen the other Traveler Notebook videos that I've made or somebody else has made, and you know we need elastic in the next part. If you want to cover your eyelets, we're going to make holes with grommets, you can do that. I have them, I have eyelets, I just never used them. It doesn't seem like they're necessary, honestly. I haven't had any of my TNs like open up in that area or look funky, so, but it looks nice, right? It's more finished, so however you want to do that. Of course, laminator, laminating sheets, and whatever goodies you want to put on there. Beads, and I'm gonna make felt pieces because I have tons of Halloween dies and stuff like that from years past. Or if you want to cut, if you have a maker or something, or just cut things from paper in your Cricut machines, whatever it is, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. So I'm gonna do some of those kind of things, and then of course paper clips and all that. So we'll do that in the next video. But for now, our cover is 5 1/4 by 8 1/2. And all that means is basically it's almost the size of just a standard A2 size card. It's just a little short, right? So if you have a card base that you really like, use it, you know, I think it'd be fun. You just have to cut it down to 5 1/4 by 8 1/2, and so we're going to score at 4 1/4, but the first score mark is really at 3 3/4. I just want to show you how it's basically an A2 size card. So we're going to score it at 4 1/4, also at 3 3/4, and an inch from there is 4 3/4, right? Because we want an inch spine or so. So 4 3/4 is right here. And this is my cover. I do like to go ahead and score things. So I'm just kind of on its own, like making sure it's lined up. Give it a little score. I'll score on all 3 lines. And that's it for today, guys. Yes, I totally had forgotten to mention to sign up. You need to do that by, oh, hold on, August 9th. But starting now, guys, get working on it. If you're already a TN Pro or you've done this before, you don't have to wait for my video tomorrow, you know, start working on this and then have all your paper pieces cut, start your dangles or whatever. There's lots of videos on making beaded dangles and charms or whatever it is that you want to attach to the outside. I probably should have had a sample of a TN to show you guys in my hand here, but I did not because I think we've seen them. And then I always corner around. So... that's it for now, guys. I don't make the holes until we laminate, so we don't have to do anything else with this. And basically, this is what it's shaping up to be. Of course, I need to corner around these other things. But look at that. I think this is really sweet. So we have this, let's say this one, this one, this one. We just put the folder like in here. We have a dashboard, we have a bookmark, and it's all going to go in here. Oh my goodness. And that's so sweet. I think that's just adorable. So... alright guys, I hope you join. I know at least about 20 people already signed up from yesterday, just me saying, hey, the sign up is open if you want to jump in a little bit early. So I can't get too many more people in, so hopefully you'll sign up soon, and let me know. Again, you have until the 9th to sign up. You want to send in your swaps by, I believe, the 18th, whatever it is I had written in the guidelines, and just let me know. The email's in the description box. Email me, I'll send you the guidelines in written form. They will refer back to this video, but some of the stuff is written out for you, so hopefully that clarifies some things for you guys. Yeah, all right, let's get to it. Bye now.